What is up, guys? It's Skill Up here. Hello and welcome. Happy New Year to you. I hope you had a fantastic start to 2017, and I really hope that the vendors are good to you as well. We're about to find out. Just a quick reminder that there are timestamps in the description below which show you all of the items for the week and allow you to jump back and forward throughout the video as you please. Also very handy if you need to come back later in the week and remember where that item was that you were looking for. This video this week is brought to you by ViewSonic. As I said earlier, they donated a really nice monitor to me, which allows me to record in 1440p. So big thanks to them. Check out the description below for some details on that monitor. And with that, let's get stuck into this week's weekly vendor reset. At the weapons vendor in the base of operations this week, there's a Tactical Vector 45 ACP with Unforgiving, Vicious, and Destructive. It's a really nice combination of talents. However, sadly, this is the smaller mag variant of the Vector, so I probably wouldn't recommend this one. Having said that though, the talents are quite nice, and particularly in PvP, if you're still using an SMG, there are some people doing it. Unforgiving is a really nice talent in PvP. At the advanced weaponry vendor this week, there's a few items that are quite interesting actually. There's a tactical AUG A3P here with Unforgiving, Responsive, and Commanding. Rollaway commanding in that third slot means you can get anything else for free. It's a nice combination of talents, otherwise not a bad pick at all. Military SA58 here with 20% enemy armor damage, which is a decent roll. Responsive, which is obviously very strong in PvP or in PvE if you're feeling really confident. Talented, which you probably wouldn't use with this weapon unless you were running with some kind of skill power build. You'd most likely roll this one away. And Brutal in that third slot there is always a really nice talent to have. So this is a good combination of talents for an Alpha Bridge set. You probably wouldn't use this as your primary weapon. You'd pair it with an M4 or an LVOAC within an Alpha Bridge build. But yeah, not a bad combination of talents if you get rid of that talented. There's a military M870 with Dominant, Ferocious, and Competent. The thing is, these talents, or the Ferocious specifically, has a fairly high electronics requirement. I'm hitting that at the moment because my gear is a mess. Don't worry about my build, it's crap. But yeah, Competent in that third slot is really helpful. So this one's a bit situational. If you're running a hybrid build, this would be a good one, but most people aren't going to be able to hit that Ferocious talent. And finally, there's a Vertical Grip Wolf Grey here with 47.5% optimal range, which is a really nice roll on that. That optimal range is particularly helpful on things like an SMG, so there you go. At the special equipment vendor in the terminal here, we have some nice swag. We've got this Navy MP5 N. It's rolled with Vicious, Capable, and Ferocious. Vicious, great with an SMG because you need as much crit as you can to unlock the value of this critical hit damage. Capable, you do not need on an SMG, so you would absolutely roll that away. And Ferocious in that third slot, we know has that very high electronics requirement, but the fact that it's in the third slot means that you don't have to worry about the electronics. It's for yours for free. So it's actually a really nice PvE focused SMG that is definitely worth checking out. There's an enhanced ACR-E here that has 23% enemy armor damage, which is fantastic. It's got Meticulous, which is probably overkill. Brutal and Unforgiving are great talents to have. You'd probably roll away that Meticulous and replace it with something more damage focused and use this as your secondary if you're running the Alpha Bridge build that everyone runs at the moment. But yeah, not a bad combination of talents. There's also an MG5 here. It's got Prepared, Swift, and Destructive. It's not the best combination of talents. Prepared is probably the one I'd recommend rolling away on this. You can use an MG5 at that range. It's got the optimal range to handle it. However, it's just not ideal. The weapon's just a bit too unstable at that point, particularly if you're playing on console. Swift is nice on this weapon because it actually has a very high base reload time. So if you pair that with one of the underbarrel mods that increase your reload speed, you actually get a fairly quick reload on this and it becomes a really nice feeling weapon. And Destructive is obviously a top tier talent across the board. Those of you running Lone Star may be interested in this mask. It's rolled with damage to elite in the top slot, base firearms, and the minor attribute there is Disorient Resistance, which means that you can just change it to get enemy armor damage in that bottom slot and you have yourself a very well rolled Lone Star mask. This here is a very well rolled Alpha Bridge chest. It's got stamina base and a very nice roll on it at that. It's got protection from elites, health on kill, and ammo capacity. You do want ammo capacity in that minor slot, so that's a tick. And then it's all about, well, do you want the protection from elites because you're planning on doing some PvE with this, or do you want some health on kill to give you a bit of an edge? Because one of these needs to switch over to armor. You do need to recalibrate it for that. But once you do, you got yourself a very well rolled Alpha Bridge chest piece. For the 2 or 3 of you out there running Hunter's Faith, P.S. I'm actually one of them. Hunter's Faith backpack here, not bad. Base firearms, base armor, and ammo capacity. It's actually a really nice roll on this one. You can kind of just change that top stat to whatever you need to fit your build, and you got yourself a very nice backpack. There's some knee pads of the Nomad here, which have rolled base stamina. They've got enemy armor damage in that bottom slot. Change this crit hit damage to armor, and they are very good. This pair of operator gloves is quite nice. Base savage, base electronics, which you'd probably change. Assault rifle damage, which is all the rage at the moment. Critical hit chance, fantastic. And then damage to elites. If you're looking for something really PvP focused, you'd probably want that to be critical hit damage. Yeah, but you're probably going to need to roll this one away, which means you're kind of stuck with these three. Having said that though, if you're PvE focused player, this is really, really top notch, like perfect roll on this. And these defense gloves are also really nice. LMG damage, which you change to SMG damage, health on kill, damage to elites, and base stamina means that, yeah, as long as you're using stamina for your gloves, then this is already a really nice pair of gloves to be running with. This week, the Special Blueprints vendor is selling the military M9, which is a pistol. Whoopee. He's also selling the MG5, which is that LMG I spoke about a moment ago. It is one of the better ones to craft, to be honest, if you're chasing an LMG. So there's that. There's a Firearms Gloves Blueprint, though, which obviously is great because it means that you can craft yourself a pair of Savage gloves and keep crafting them until you eventually get the right combination of you know, secondary bonuses on those, minor stats. So I would recommend picking that up if you're looking to sort of min-max a pair of Savage gloves. There's a prototype performance gear mod here as well, and that's it. At the Cavern Safe House, those of you that are running the Ballistic Shield build without using the defense gear set, so those of you using a sidearm, this is a really great pair of gloves. It's got 1220 stamina, nice roll. It's decisive, critical hit chance, damage to elites, change the shotgun damage to pistol damage, and Boomtown, they are yours. I'm going to pick those up because they are great. And yeah, that's it. At Camp Hudson, there's the weapons vendor here, and this week he's selling a tactical SASG-12 with unforgiving, meticulous, and brutal, which works really well with this. It's a high rate of fire, sort of semi-automatic shotgun, and if you can keep pulling the trigger and keep killing stuff, you're probably going to be taking damage while you do it, which means you're going to be dealing more damage. You're going to hopefully be reloading your weapon, which is great. And there's someone saluting me, hello. And brutal works really well because you definitely want to be chaining headshots while you're using an SASG. So quite a nice roll on this one. And also at Camp Hudson, there is a gear vendor, and this week he's selling a fantastic electronics mod, 256 base electronics, 263 armor. I think this is actually the best sort of electronics armor roll I've seen. So that's really, really nice. At the Last Call Safe House, there is a lightweight M4 here. Now, is it any good? Well, the per bullet damage is actually respectable. I've got a fairly well-rolled lightweight M4 here. However, the one that was sold last week had about 400 extra per bullet damage. So it's an okay roll, but it's definitely not exceptional at that level. Vicious is an okay talent to be using. It's obviously a little bit situational. Capable you wouldn't use on this weapon, you would roll that away. And then Deadly, critical hit damage is increased by 15%, is actually very lackluster. So given the fact you'll roll away this Capable, you're kind of stuck with this Deadly. Vicious, it's okay. The per bullet damage is good but not great. It's an okay purchase. It's not amazing. It's certainly not bad. If you don't have a good lightweight M4, then sure, it's a great purchase, but it's definitely not top tier. At the Grindhouse Safe House, you're going to find a Police UMP45, which is the new type of SMG added in patch 1.5. In terms of talents, it's got Vicious, Predatory, and Ambusher. I don't like Ambusher. I always get rid of it, but the fact that it's in the third slot is great because it means that whatever you get is free. Predatory I always like with SMGs because you need to be up close to your target in order to use it, which means you're likely to be taking damage. It's a really nice talent to pair with most SMGs. And Vicious, we've already said, is good on an SMG because it helps you unlock the value of this critical hit damage. So overall, a very nicely rolled Police UMP. However, the actual Police UMP as a weapon is one of the sort of second tier SMGs. Still, if you're keen on it, then it's not bad at all. At the Firewall Safe House this week, there's a stamina mod, which is rolled really well. It's got 253 stamina, and the max roll that you can get on that is 267. So that's quite a nice roll, actually. And in terms of its armor, it's got 256. The max roll you can get is 281. So this is fairly strong as well. It's one of the best, if not the best stamina mod that's been sold in terms of its armor combination. So if you haven't picked up 4 of these, then I recommend doing so. At the East 53rd Street DZ checkpoint, there is a prototype performance mod that's rolled for sticky bomb damage, 3.5% here. Max roll is 4%, so this is not bad. At the East 42nd Street DZ checkpoint, there's a classic AK-47 here with unforgiving, responsive, and predatory. The AK actually has the highest per bullet damage of any assault rifle other than the burst fire FAL variants. So this one is always nice to use because it has plenty of punch. 18% enemy armor damage is low, however. Combination of talents, unforgiving, responsive, and predatory is really, really nice. It synergizes really well. If you want to go more damage focus, you could drop the predatory and replace it with something else. Would you use this over an LVOA or a M4? In PvP, no. In PvE, perhaps you might want to. I just like the feel of them personally, so yeah. At the East 34th Street DZ checkpoint, blast from the past here, we've got a classic M1A. It's got accurate, capable, and ferocious, which is actually like the perfect combination of talents that you'd want on this weapon if you are using it for PvE. Yeah, I don't have the Dark Zone funds to purchase this, otherwise I absolutely would. The M1A isn't what it once was, but it's still really nice to use when you can fire really fast with it, and this combination of talents lets you do exactly that, accurate and capable. Ferocious, obviously, really nice bonus damage in PvE. So if you can afford it and you want to try something a little bit different in your PvE endgame, then this is a good pick. At the East 31st Street DZ checkpoint, healers out there may be interested in this prototype performance mod. Support station healing speed, 5% is the max roll on this one, so there it is. At the 5th Avenue DZ checkpoint, a custom P416 G3 with 21% enemy armor damage, ferocious, self-preserved, and competent. Now, self-preserved and competent are great because obviously competence in that 3rd slot. You get that one for free. Self-preserved, a fair amount of healing when you happen to crit. Ferocious in that top slot there, unless you're running a hybrid build, you're going to have to roll it away for something else, but you're left with a very nice combination of talents otherwise. Would fit well with an Alpha Bridge build. There you have it. At the DZ6 safe house, there's a defense vest this week that's rolled base stamina, health on kill, ammo capacity, change the exotic damage resistance to armor, and you got yourself a very nice defense chest. There's a Sentry's Call backpack that's also rolled quite well, just change that to armor. And there is a pair of Tactician's Authority gloves here that have rolled base electronics. However, they have shotgun and pistol damage, which is a bit awkward. Still, if you really need a pair of electronics Tactician's Authority gloves, then they are here waiting for you. At the DZ4 vendor this week, there is a Firearms mod that's rolled with bonus armor. The Firearms roll is very nice, 266 out of a possible 267, so it's nearly max rolled. However, the armor is only 244 out of a max roll of 280. Still, it is a very, very nice Firearms mod. At the DZ3 vendor, the one that sells the weapons, got fairly decent swag this week. Enhanced AUG A3P, sustained, responsive, and talented. Not the best combination, but hey, it's okay. This enhanced ACR has destructive, focused, and competent. Great combination of talents. Competent in the 3rd slot. Perfect, destructive, top tier. Focus, you would roll that away for something else, and this fits very well into an Alpha Bridge build. And finally, at the DZ2 safe house, there is a robust chest piece here that's rolled damage to elites, armor, and increased kill XP, which is a fairly nice roll. This chest is actually fairly decent if you run specific builds, so I wouldn't overlook it. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is Should I Buy It for the week. Coming up this week, I have my last 2 PvP suggestions video. How to improve PvP for patch 1.6. Don't miss those. The first 3 videos have obviously generated a lot of discussion, and I've still got plenty more to say in those last 2 vids. I'm also going to be doing some vids on Escape from Tarkov, fingers crossed, if the developers will let me. I'm in the alpha, and it's actually looking pretty damn sweet. And also a little bit of Mass Effect stuff as well. Mass Effect got a release date, and I'd love to talk about that a little bit. I'm not going to do a huge amount of coverage on Mass Effect, but I love Mass Effect. It's a great game. So I expect to see at least a little bit of it on my channel. For now, guys, thank you very much for watching. Drop the video a like if you liked and you found it useful, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.